This deepfake of a person can be created in just a few simple steps and completely for free using the FaceSwap functionality inside of Fooocus. Let's get started. In case you need help with setting up Fooocus, just click the card appearing in the top right corner of the video or directly go to the Fooocus setup tutorial we have on our YouTube channel. First of all, the method behind how Fooocus is able to achieve the face swap. It captures the facial details of our input image, which then transforms the face of our target image to resemble the base face. It results in images still containing the characteristics of our original. And also it works best with AI generated photos, both the face and the base scenery image. To do it with actual people and actual photos, you're gonna have to play around with the values that you're gonna be seeing throughout the video. Now, when would you actually use a face swap? For example, if you already have a face and you want that person inside of a custom scene, or you have a custom scene and afterwards want to put a face in there, or additionally if you have multiple faces on a picture and only want to change that one face, you're going to use the in-paint mixing. The process of creating a face swap, which I'm going to go through with you inside of this video, is first of all creating the rough base image with a scene, as you can see here on the left, and then afterwards creating the face that we want to face swap, and then we can use one of the 4 face swapping methods that I'm going to show you inside of this video to apply onto that base image. Finally, if there are any imperfections, you can use in-paint where necessary. First of all, we're going to create our base face image. For that, I've already created a prompt of a photorealistic shot showing the shoulders and head of a pretty young woman with shoulder length glossy black hair with dark purple lips and a big smile looking towards the camera with a neutral background. I'm gonna assume you know the basics of Fooocus. Just press on advanced right here and you can select the amount of images you want to have generated and make sure to have the random seed selected right here. I'm gonna increase the number to 4 and then press generate. These are the results. Let's take this third one right here. So now onto the first face swapping method. First of all, we press input image here on the bottom left. Then we have a new menu to work with. Now going to image prompt, and then we can simply drag and drop our image down here to the first part, and scrolling down, pressing on advanced, select face swap. And now here are the stop at and wait values. I would leave the stop at value between 0.9 and 1 to get the best results, but you might have to change and adapt these numbers according to your use case, and also especially if you're using images or photos of actual people which are not AI generated, then you will have to play around a bit more. And the stop at simply means that this is the amount of the image that is generated according to the input image. So 0.9 would create the new image by 90% based on the input, and then the final 10% are generated by Fooocus's creativity engine running in the background. The weight I would leave between 0.75 and 1. If you go higher, then it will introduce distortions into your image. And the weight itself is the amount of influence that an image prompt has on the actual result. So now also under advanced, remove the random seed, and you can leave this generated seed in right here. Now we're gonna create our base image that we want to work with. So let's adapt our prompt here, and then I'm gonna turn down the image numbers down to 2 so that it generates quicker, and press generate. And now we directly have our person in the specified scene and can work further with it. For face swap method number 2, mixing in paint and the image prompt, I've created an image where we have multiple faces, and if we were to face swap using any of the other methods, then all 3 of these women would have the same face, and that's not what we want. So to get it more direct onto one person, first of all making sure that inside of our image prompt, as before, we have our face and then the face swap selected. Next, going over to in paint or out paint, press on here or drag and drop your base image. And as a side note, when you hover here over this information at the top left, you can see some handy shortcuts to work on this. Let's say we want to have our left woman right here be adapted to our face. So what you do is you can increase the size of our selection tool. Make sure to give it more than enough space. Now we have to go with the advanced button, select below our text prompt box, under advanced again, developer debug mode, control, and selecting mixing image prompt and in paint. And then we can adapt our text prompt right here to only having this pretty young woman with shoulder length black hair. Also, I would advise you to go with 4 pictures to generate, because some of the results might not be that great, and then you'll have a bigger selection to go with. And this is our in painting result with multiple people on it. For our next face swapping method, image variation, I've created a new base image that we can work with. First of all, make sure random is not selected on the right side. Then going to upscale or variation, inputting your base image. Also make sure that you obviously have your image prompt, image selected along with face swap. Then we go under advanced on the right side, make sure that developer debug mode is selected on the control, and instead of mixing image prompt and in paint, tick the box for mixing image prompt and vary upscale. Back on our upscale or variation, make sure that it's set to very subtle. You can include a text prompt right here, but it's not necessary. And then press generate. As you can see, it also changes the background, but the face itself is okay. You could select whichever you prefer the most. And sometimes, depending on how close the person is to the fictitious camera lens, there might be some details that might be a bit wonky. For example, some eyes being too small or something like that. And you can later on use the in-paint function to fix that. And finally, I'm gonna show you how to use PatrickLieberkind for the last face swapping method. For that, we can leave our face swap image with the face swap selected, and then on the right, we'll select a new picture. I'll just select the one from the intro, and then selecting PatrickLieberkind right here. You can leave the default values right here. It'll then take the face from our face swap along with the pose of PatrickLieberkind. PatrickLieberkind scans the image for the structures, for the edges and corners of the image, and then uses that to create a new image. So let's press generate. And as mentioned, we now have our face along with the pose from that previous image. And you can see sometimes the eyes are messed up, and you can use in-paint to fix that.